Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are on Friday morning, so happy Friday to you. Those of you who work Mondays to Friday and get weekends off. Um, so, continuing to read through uh, the exploitations of Solomon here. Exploitations. Anyway, it's Friday morning. I mentioned that, right? Um, So again, it's just a recount of what we read through yesterday with the dedication of the temple. The temple is set up and accepted by the Lord as this centerpiece of worship. Everybody will use it as a point of focus. And we talked about yesterday how we don't need that because we carry His presence with us at all times, and that we just don't draw upon Him during difficult times or times of need, but we have an ongoing, beautiful friendship and relationship that we develop with Him, and it's just, yeah, it's just a completely different thing. So we don't have to turn towards our church buildings in order to worship or to pray. We don't have anything like that. We don't have prayer rugs. We don't have to pray to the east. We carry the presence of our Lord with us at all times, and it's just, yeah, it's great. But one of the things that I wanted to point out was that Israel has grown into a certain level of maturity. They've reached a certain level of relationship. And now they've got to walk in that. They've got to live that. And there's more to go for yet. But this is where they've arrived and what they've achieved. And they cannot go backwards. They can't go back and live at a lesser level. And the Lord is warning them about that. And He says, if you do, basically I'll turn this place into a desert land. I'll remove my blessing. There's nothing magical about this temple. I accept it right now, and I will. My presence will definitely be here. But listen, guys, if you don't live up to this level of relationship that we've entered into, then I'm out of here. Now, we don't have that kind of situation now because we are possessed by Him, and He's promised never to leave us. We are the temple. But the whole thing about the relationship still is true. It's a progression. We see that all through the Word. We are growing up in maturity into the head of Christ. This is what we're doing, and we don't get to live at a lesser level. We've talked about this at church before. We don't get to live at a lesser level when we achieved a certain level of maturity in our relationship. So, like, a 20-year-old doesn't get to act like a 6-year-old. That's never accepted. A 6-year-old is allowed to act like a 6-year-old. And we're wrong to expect a 6-year-old to act like a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old. A 6-year-old is going to act like a 6-year-old. But a 20-year-old, it's never acceptable for them to act like they're 6. And so we have this in our relationship, that when we reach a certain level of understanding, of knowledge, revelation knowledge, understanding of that knowledge, and we're operating in that, we don't get to step backwards. We don't get to, at any point, step away from that. And that's so important, and I really need to stress that there's never a point where we get to stop pressing in, when we get to just take a few steps backwards, say, hey, this is becoming too intense. It doesn't work that way. We got to keep going. The whole thing is about growth. The reason we're given so much time on this earth is because of growth. It's not just what He's doing through us; it's what He's doing in us. That's what's really important. We got to grab a hold of this. So just keep that in mind and look at where you're supposed to be, and live at least what you've achieved so far. The level that you've achieved, and then press in for more. Because if you stop pressing in, if you stop acting like the 20-year-old that you are, and you start acting like the 15-year-old or the 10-year-old or the 6-year-old, you're going to suffer. You're going to feel it. You're going to know it. And His presence just will not be the same as what you've been experiencing. Encouraging word, right? No, it's an encouraging word to say, hey, press on, keep going. Listen, it's not over. We're all there. It's not over. You just keep pressing on. So you be blessed in this day.